Buzz, Bob Kravitz from the Indian Monthly. What did you do to prevent Trey Kaufman-Renn from getting the post touches that they wanted to get him?
Well, Devin Johnson is our defensive coordinator and associate head coach. He works really hard at trying to figure out how to maybe change the rhythm and change the pace and change the catches of opponent's best players. He's number 4 and number 3 are incredibly hard to guard, and they're worthy of all the attention they have received. And they put such stress on you. Their usage rate, I think 4 is 36% usage rate, number 3 is 35% usage rate. That's 71%. And so that doesn't count the impact that number 2 has, shooting 55% from 3. So I think our guys over this week were really good in preparation relative to coach's plan. And at times, I thought we executed it really well. Our turnover rate was too high, particularly in the first half. That allowed them probably to play a little bit more in transition than we would like. But those 2 guys put pressure on you per possession, almost per pass.
Okay, more questions for the players, please. Third row.
Buzz, hey, Greg Doyle from the Indy Star.
Greg, what's up?
How are you doing, sir?
Good to see you.
And you?
I wasn't thinking I'd see you today.
One thing I'd see you today.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, we're obviously the odd group of the 4 teams to show up and play Purdue here.
Welcome to Indiana. So tell me about how you're playing Purdue, a team that everybody knows is going to play pretty hard. Your guys always play physically and hard, but is there anything that you tell them about this specific Matt Painter team to kind of get them ready for what we just saw out there?
Yeah, I thought it would be a little higher possession game, just a little higher than it was. And I think that both teams played incredibly hard, very physical. I think the consistency that Coach has led with over the last 20 years is renowned. Not necessarily the results, just how he goes about his work on and off the floor. I have the utmost respect for who he is as a person and who he is as a coach. And I think that some of the guys on our team, Greg, that are probably basketball junkies are aware of Purdue's consistency during their basketball career. But I think that our coaches did a good job of presenting how good they are. 3 returning starters from the national championship game, 7 returners from the national championship game. And just what he's done, not just last year, in the 20 years he's been there, is phenomenal. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Again, questions for the players.
Steven Sterling, XL Sports. Zhuric and Pharrel, you guys, one thing that jumped out, I think, to everybody here was your communication skills on the floor. I saw a little bit against Creighton. I thought it was a lot better tonight. Talk about how you guys manifest that between teammates and even the bench. You guys were all in the game talking to each other during the course of the game, which I think changed the game. Talk a little bit about that, please.
I would say communication is who we are. We take a lot of pride in that. I think defense is what we would say makes our team go, so that's a big thing for us.
Yeah, just a piggyback off Pharrel. I think that's just who we are. That's our foundation, and I think it was probably one of the best that we talking. This was the best game that we had, talking. So I felt like it's gonna get better and better from now. But that's something that we harp on and that we talk about every day on a day-to-day basis.
Pharrel, Sam King from the Journal and Courier. You heard Coach talk about how hard it is to guard 3 and 4, and they feast on the short pick and roll. How did you take that away, and how hard was it to kind of defend that and disrupt it?
I'd say it was hard because they're really good players, but we met them with our physicality first and foremost, and I feel like that was the key.
Ian Kurtz with Battalion. Question for Zhuric. 3-point shooting, really strong, especially in the first half. That's something over the course of the season has been kind of up and down for y'all. What did it mean to really come how strong on that front?
Yeah, it was really good. First half, I think just the confidence we have in each other, and from the staff as well. Just to shoot the ball. If it's open, if you open, shoot it. And we had a lot of open ones today, and they just failed.
Pharrel, it's Kyle with Sports Report. What's it like coming into a place like this? Hostile crowd, big arena, neutral site, but how does this prepare you for the tournament?
First of all, I'd say it was exciting, and I'd say playing a team, I think they're number 8 like this. It's what we're gonna see till we go into the tournament. I would say that would get us ready for our season and then postseason play as well.
Last question for the players.
Zhuric Phelps from Aggies broadcast. Talk about the toughness of this team to come into what is essentially a home game for Purdue. You go up by 12, but you're able to hold them off. What does that tell you about the toughness of the team?
Really just our experience, from the games that we played. We played a lot of really good teams. And I think, just our toughness, that's our identity. We harp on that every day. We talk about it every day, and you guys see it, when we play. So I think, just sticking to what our foundation and who we are is toughness. So, when we come out during the game, that's what you'll see.
Okay, we'll go ahead and dismiss the players, then open up the floor for a few more questions for Coach.
Coach, what is kind of the biggest takeaway being able to win at such, just a hard game on the road? Obviously, Purdue's right up the road from here. What's kind of your biggest takeaway going forward that you're going to remember from this game with practicing with more neutral site games as you go into that rest of the season and then the tournament down the road?
Yeah, I just think it only accentuates the value of every possession. You're not going to beat a team as good as they are in this environment by more than a possession or two. And I think the more you can understand the value of each possession and the more you can be comfortable in being uncomfortable, at least it gives you a chance. And as much as we can mimic any sort of component of that in our practice facility, it pales in comparison to Saturday afternoon at noon in front of 97% capacity for Purdue. Our scout team can't mimic their talent. We can kind of remotely go through their actions, but they've ran 77 plays, different plays in the last 7 games. I mean, he's an offensive savant. And I think 3 is the highest assist rated player in the country, and 4 has a higher usage rate than 3. And so you can only watch it, talk about it, walk through it, write it, try to practice it, but you have to be comfortable that none of it's going to feel perfect. And I think our guys, through the schedule we've played, through their maturity, through their experience, I think they're beginning to have maybe a little bit of peace in being uncomfortable.
Buzz, right back here, Steve Streaming XL Sports. Go Creighton, Texas Tech to here. Do you think that your length of your team is a surprise to opponents? Because when you see it on TV, totally different than seeing it up close and personal. And talk a little bit about how these guys, I asked them a question at communication. You guys were dead on ball all night. You were helping out big time. I've never seen anybody play Kaufman Wren that good.
Thank you.
Yes.
A few things. I think we played Creighton the day before Thanksgiving, and then 3 days later, on our 7th day in Vegas, we played Rutgers, who causes similar problems. You guys will see it, I guess, at some point later in the year. It's not a perimeter and a forward, it's 2 guards. And so it's a different sort of prep, but from a usage rate, it's similar. 2 days later, we're playing in the ACC Challenge against a very sound, fundamentally sound team on both sides of the ball. And then Texas Tech has some similarities in how potent they are offensively. I think a couple of things on the communication thing. None of it do I say with arrogance. I think when you're playing a team that has so many weapons and can beat you in so many ways, that if you think you can do it quietly, you have no shot whatsoever. And so one of the things that we practice, no matter who we're playing, and that starts the day after Labor Day, is communication is number one within our program. That's not just our players, that's everybody. That's our managers, that's our trainers. We try to make sure that the words may be different, but the language we speak has the same message. Because I think in these sorts of environments, if you are not loud and you're not attuned to the frequency that you speak, you'll get boat raced.
Time for last question for Coach.
Yeah, how about this guy right here?
Ian Curtis with Battalion. Good to see you, Coach.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Did you pay your way here?
I did pay my way here. Well, my dad paid my way. But
Tell your dad
close
thank you.
enough.
And you need to meet this guy behind you. You need to meet Greg when it's over.
Coach, you put a strong focus on non-conference scheduling over the past few seasons. What does it mean to you to not only get this win, but to be at this point in the year with this resume that you have?
I didn't realize, Ian, it's easy, you schedule a year in advance. And so Purdue, Marquette, maybe a couple of Ivy Leagues, they're among the only teams in the country that don't have portal players. And so you don't know who you're going to play. You don't know if it's going to be a quad one or a quad two. Similar to his question, I think that's why you're seeing more neutral site games, because there's a little bit of variance in a neutral site opponent as far as is it a quad one or quad two. This will end up being a quad 1A game, I think, in the end, because they're so good. What I didn't realize in signing all of these contracts was the wear and tear that this puts on your program. Physically, that's easy to figure out, but the mental and the emotional fight that this takes, we're playing all over the country. We're playing less home games than we've ever played. We're playing less quad 4 games than we've ever played. I think when you have these results, it makes it seem like, wow, that was smart. But you could also, this is a 2-possession game. Texas Tech was a 2-possession game. Rutgers was a 2-possession game. Creighton was a 2-possession game. Against Oregon, it's a tied ball game with 4 minutes to play. Like, it can also go the other way. And when it goes the other way, numerically you may be sound as it relates to a resume. But the wear and tear is genuine. And so, like, our off days have become manna from heaven, not just for the players, like everybody. Like, see you later, don't come to the facility, don't dribble a ball. If you need treatment, get ice from your refrigerator, because it's just a lot. And so, to be in this position, we feel incredibly grateful because we understand how thin the margin is.